Should I be raising this hand? My name is Fakriya Hashim, and I am a development advocate. During the 2019 elections, I voted twice in one day. There was miscommunication on the part of INEC. They set up our polling unit in the wrong spot in the morning, and it was after about 100 people had finished voting that they realized that, it should have been, at the other side of town, and they had to move it. It just turned into chaos because people started fighting, calling for burning of the ballot boxes.
Welcome to Talk Your Own Voices and Vote, a special edition of We the People. My name is Afi Basi, but you can call me Afi. How did we treat women in the 2019 elections? In a 2018 report by the International Center for Investigative Reporting, Nigerian women's rate of participation in formal decision-making remains one of the lowest in Africa and across the world, with women occupying just 5.6% of all elective positions at both the national and subnational levels. Now, we thought the 2019 elections would fix all that, but seeing the record number of women aspirants and candidates that emerged then, what we see now is really different because the reality of gender inclusion, or the lack of it, still stares everyone in the face. The list of candidates released by INEC on January 17, 2019 showed that 5 out of 73 candidates who contested for president are women, and just under 800 women competed against nearly 6,000 men. Just 7 women emerged winners. To dig into this serious matter, I have with me a group of beautiful Nigerians. I'll start with the panel. On the panel, let me start with Mrs. Abiodun Esiet, who's a councillorship aspirant in the 2019 general elections. We also have Kevin Akoji. He's a senatorial candidate in the 2019 general elections, as well as Efemena Ozuga, who's from Yaga, Africa. Okay, I also have beautiful Nigerians here with us to discuss this matter. And straight away, I think I'd like to start with you. What barriers or challenges did women face, whether as candidates or as voters in the 2019 elections? What do you think? You were a woman. Did you vote?
Yes, I did.
So did you face any barrier or challenge?
Yes, I do.
Do you want to share?
Yes, I will. That is why I'm standing up. At my own polling unit, normally, if you are a nursing mother or you are a pregnant woman, when you come around, they're supposed to give you that respect so that you do quickly and attend to your baby. But there, when we went to vote, we have to start dragging. If you are not there with the trouser, sorry for you. So the men will push back.
And you were with the baby?
No, I wasn't. My baby was not with me. So we have to push and you push back. Then we have to struggle when you get to your turn before you vote. Before I left the polling center, because we started late, it was about 10 p.m. So imagine the children at home, nobody to attend to them.
Thanks for sharing. Let's talk about more. What do you think? What were those barriers? Let's talk about practical barriers and challenges, whether as a voter, because some of you went out to vote. What did you notice at your polling units? Go ahead.
One of the issues I noticed is our culture. Here in Nigeria, I think we have is a major barrier. Most of us, we tend to look at women from a perspective of you're just supposed to be at home, you're not supposed to be out there and all that. So I feel one of the challenges we faced with a lot of women coming out for office is as a result of culture.
From my experience, I want to say that quite a number of women actually voted, because I voted myself, so I saw quite a number of them. Possibly because of the area that I'm staying. It's a friendly area. So they came and voted en masse. So, but then the same will not be said about the extreme, the villages, the states. There's this general way we see politics as a do or die. So I want to think that women will be scared. Most women are scared of going out and talk about the remote places to vote, the villages, the states. Of course, what played out on TV that we saw, that security is actually a major challenge for, women coming out to vote.
Okay, so how many of you, let's talk with the women now, just based on what Nsikak said now, if you had a security challenge in your area, maybe there was violence or something, like we saw in a few parts though, we saw in TV some people, the polling unit was scattered and all, would you still have gone out to vote if you had seen all of that happening? Yes? No?
No.
No, you wouldn't. So you'd agree that security would be a great challenge too for you as a woman. But the men, would you have gone out to vote if you still had that? No. Men? No. Oh, even men? Okay, so if men have that issues, imagine how it would be for women. Let's talk with the panel now. Okay, I'll start with you, Efemena. What, from your perspective, because I know that you were also an election observer, from your perspective, what were the challenges that stopped women, that women faced during the 2019 elections?
Okay, thank you very much, Afi. So a foremost challenge was electoral violence. So you see, because most polling units, had issues, and then when everywhere gets scattered, people are running, and then women are left on their own. Most of them can't run as fast as men could. For example, in Kano, we had an instance where there was a woman they stripped naked because she wanted to vote regardless of the situation. So it was a thing of protect your life as against your votes. I mean, who wouldn't protect his or her life? So electoral violence was the key issue, as well as security challenge, as it was earlier mentioned. The security, they were there, but they were not there. So it's like when you need them to act, they don't act. And so you're like, if there's nobody to protect me, why do I stay and kill myself?
Okay, Abiodun Esiet, you contested. You were an aspirant, a councillorship aspirant. For you, what was the major barrier in your work, in your political career?
Okay, thank you very much. As an aspirant, the major challenge is the patriarchal structure of the politics. And politics is a game of men. So everything, the structure, both the internal party democracy is built around men. The timing for the meeting is not really favorable to women. The financial structure, godfatherism. So the internal party politics in the essence of who has to be the candidate, the selection, party politics, the constitution of the party, everything was just against women. So it was really, really like my primary election was declared inconclusive. We had more votes than the number of delegates. So we had 110 delegates and we had 123 voters. So there was, instead of us doing the election again, it was declared inconclusive. The election was supposed to be declared null and void, but because of the old party politics going on, they prefer it to be declared inconclusive so that the party leaders can now decide on who to become their candidate or the flag bearer of the party. So godfatherism was also a major challenge. Then finances, because the person that gets the ticket is the ones with the highest pocket, who has enough money to float around, who has enough money to bribe the electoral commission. So my own observation about the whole process is, if we can have democratic process in our primary elections, how do we want our general elections to be?
That's something that I think we should explore a little more. Kevin, do we really need a man's buy-in before a woman can actually participate or be voted for, especially when it comes to the inter-party thing?
Thank you, Afi. For starts, I believe we have to look at the ideal and the application. In the ideal scenario, nobody should be limited by anything, so long as the Constitution stipulates that you must be 18 years and above to vote and be voted for. And then following through the Electoral Act, which states some extra preconditions. If any Nigerian citizen fulfills those conditions, the person should be able to run for office regardless of sex.
Is that what you saw?
So for me,
because you were part of politics
yes.
too.
So she mentioned the patriarchal system or the way in which politics in Nigeria is carved, which is a challenge. And let's not lie, I'm a male, I'm a man, and we saw those challenges that ladies faced with regards to running. And there's even, from the grapevine, there are some talks that stated that even the amounts of money that was expended for the cost of forms were largely tilted such that it will not favor the women folk, because most of them that are vocal, with all due respect, do not have a means of livelihood that gives them the billions to run whatever it is they want to do. So by virtue of increasing the cost of forms, they automatically alienated those persons. And so in this case now, we jettisoned their brains and their aspirations and said, no, it's only for the people that have the money. And because of how we're raising the bar, we know that these women will fall to the ground. And that should not be.
This is something that we still need to talk more. You've heard what the panel have shared with us. This issue of needing a man's approval to be voted for or to vote. Is it an issue that you think should be of concern?
It should be an issue of concern because looking at it, that is the society we find ourselves. It's so patriarchal that if a lady comes up to have to aspire to lead, you see her from the perspective of the fact that you're meant to be in the kitchen. You don't have the capacity, or maybe you don't have the intellectual capacity. Men are
Is
generally.
that really true?
So I think.
No. Let me just ask. What do you think from what she just said? You think that's the impression that you get from the men, that women should be in the kitchen? Come on now, talk to me.
Like men are better leaders. Some. Not kitchen per se, I'm just using that as an example. If the head of the nation is towing that path, so I think we actually face.
Men believe in this 21st century that a woman is not supposed to be a public official or supposed to take a leadership position. In this country, we don't quantify the GDP, we don't quantify what women do. The housewives. Check the INEC statistics. The housewives are they had a major percentage. They voted, they registered, they went to register. So we can't now say we can't consider their needs in this whole election. They were about, I think, 11% of the registered voters in Nigeria. And you can see that quantity. It will show that they are also interested. We are good managers. We know how to control this. Why not bring us up and say, yes, let's move you further and see this? Because everywhere is patriarchy. The person that will decide your fate, they are all men. And we don't have enough women. Look at the election now. We just have 7 senators. How do we want to move a motion? How do you want to pass a bill with that? We can't go far with that.
All right. You've been watching Voices and Votes, and we will be back shortly.
Some of the barriers that, women face in the political, space are the structures that are put in place. We have to scrap some structures that don't really help us. For me personally, what I would like to see is about 80% of, women in the National Assembly, because at the end of the day, most development issues and policies somehow are connected to women.
You're welcome back to Talk Your Own Voices and Votes. And what we've been discussing is how women fared in the 2019 elections. So do we actually agree that women are good managers, that women can actually lead in certain capacities? Yes. We agree. So why is it that we've not had a woman governor? I don't think we've had or have we? Have we ever had any female governor?
Anambra State.
Acting.
Yes.
Elected governor now?
No.
No female elected governor. Why?
Whether we like it or not, our societal values hamper a lot of participation of women in politics. Whether we like it or not, one family, you have children to take care of, most political meetings are nocturnal in nature, and it goes on and on. Until we start facing the reality of our society, we'll always be faced with these challenges.
So must it be this way?
Now, at the end of the day, power cannot be served. You must take it, and you must participate in taking it. That is the truth. In every political party, you have woman leader.
Is that
you have a woman leader now.
Is that position enough to really make any effect? So if I have only woman leader out of 27 delegates, how will it affect my election?
Now the participation of women in politics. Who canvasses for it? Who canvasses for it? Women should rally themselves. Women should rally themselves.
Femina, you want to quickly say something?
Yeah, very interesting conversation. Let's look at the status quo right now. What is it? Women are struggling to get to the top. Women are putting all efforts. You can hear from a woman's, perspective. But we've been doing this over time, and the result is the same thing. That means we're doing something wrong. We need to change our approach. I think we need to get a quota system for women. Because you can see lots of women struggling to even get, recognized in the political party is a problem. Okay, so when it comes to election, there's lack of internal party democratics in these political parties. So how do you want them to thrive? So if you put like a quota system, that's what I think is solution to the problem you just, spoke about. it would guarantee that for every, you know, political party, you have to have like a minimum of, you know, a percentage of women as your, you know, candidates in that political party.
When you say quota, are you saying like a legal framework that will address women issues, that's women specific issues?
Yes, that's what I think.
I love what the intelligent things we are saying, but we're forgetting the constitution, and it cannot be changed overnight.
Okay,
so if we do not work towards changing the conversation, all of this will just end in intelligent outbursts.
So you said the Constitution, exactly what part of it now we're talking about?
There's a bill in the National Assembly for a quota system for women, young and old. Yes, there's a bill currently. So if that is passed, then that will solve all our problems. So instead of us to, you know, keep complaining about the issue, let's advocate for that bill. Let's support that bill so we can see like a reasonable change.
Okay, so we have a quota system it has been passed into law 2017. That's the National Gender Bill policy. So in the policy, we have that 35% of any position should be left for women, which has been passed into law since 2007. So the issue we have is the domestication of this policy. I've read the constitution of PDP, I've read the constitution of APC. They both have the provision that 35% of offices will be left for women. But how true? You said 35% of position. Even look at your ESCOs, the delegate. You have only women leader as the only women representation in the whole delegate. If it's not a woman leader, it's something else. Women are not occupying key position. I mean key position, chairmanship, secretary of the party. Those are the key influencers. When you want to run a primary election, because we are always emphasizing when it comes to general election, but the main election is the primary elections. That is where you decide who becomes the flag bearer.
Okay,
so
what do you think? This conversation is going on. I know a lot of you want to say something. So let her speak and then we'll move it to the front.
We women have gone out to try to get it, but we are always politically intimidated by men. When it comes to bills and all of that, men look for a way to frustrate, because if you read, though I don't agree with everything in the Gender and Equal Opportunities Bill, but I think it's a step in the right direction to try to change the narrative of women.
Let's hear from you. Why? Why is it this way? Why? How can we move ahead, move away from what is the narrative at the moment?
It's a very difficult terrain. Politics generally in the world is very difficult. Women need to do more. They need to support themselves. Yes, you want a woman to run, you people should give her the capacity, give her money, give her the finances, and then go and get it. Once you have your money and you have your people around you that will follow you, you can't just stand up one woman and say you want to go and change the narrative. You have to go in mass. And once you do it in mass, you're going to get what you deserve.
Okay, talking about mass, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, there are over 90 million females in this country. And you know the number of people we have already. We are over 180 million. Okay, so women make up like more than half about that of this number. So should women be encouraged to vote for more women?
Women need to come together. The richer woman needs to empower the poorer woman, and the older woman should mentor the younger woman. Men are doing these things for themselves. Then why not women come together as one and support each other?
So do you think this is one of the challenges why women are not really making it as much as the men are in politics?
Yes. Some women overlook the strengths of some women. We need to stop that kind of discrimination among us women. We need to come together and support each other.
Okay, so how can women join, be active and occupy executive positions in political parties? Because that's the issue now on the ground.
They need to join political parties, get into the structure of the party, also labor with the political party, grow in the system and become key position. In my party right now, in my ward, I'm the secretary of the campaign team for APC. And that was the first time a woman has ever been a secretary of a campaign team. Because I was an aspirant, it gave me a level to participate. So if
let me hear from the audience.
You've seen so many women in the society handling a lot of things, and they are doing it so well in their businesses and in so many things. So can we go by appointment? And I'm very sure if we go by appointment, it will be an honor to the man. The man will see it as more of an honor to him. Like, oh, so you mean that society noticed your impact?
Okay, let me hear from the panel now. Okay. How can women join, be active and occupy executive positions in political parties? Really? Okay. How can we get above some of these things we've had on the ground today?
For any change to happen in women's empowerment, we need change in the policy, we need change to the individual, we need change in the society, and we also need change in all our policies and legislation and also the quota system. So in those 4 quadrants, if we don't have change in those 4 quadrants, we can't see any change. So don't let us bank on policy or quota system. We have had the quota system since 2007. It has not changed anything.
Okay. Kevin, just before you speak, you know, there were attempts in the past for female to become the president of Nigeria. They made attempts. But what went wrong? Did you think these women were not capable enough?
Okay, in Nigeria, it has not been a case of whether they are capable enough. I'll go back to the constitution. And what the constitution needed was just for the lady or the Nigerian to be 18 years and have a secondary school certificate. So by virtue of that, they were already overqualified. What they needed was the ability to rally around Nigerians to vote them. And I'm going back to what we're talking about, political parties. Joining a political party is close to free. If you break it down from the ward level, all you just need to do is walk up to where the party office is and join the party. If at all any political party tries to be intelligent, if they bill you for membership, it's actually for the cost of your ID card. And so it might end up in the range of 10 naira to 100 naira. But we still do not have ladies coming out. And so when you are intelligent enough to have gotten PhDs and all you have, and you come and become a presidential candidate, and you cannot even rally around 10 ladies amongst 50 to vote you, there's a challenge.
So, let me ask this final question before we conclude today's discussion. Will Nigeria ever elect a woman as president? Will it ever happen?
It's possible.
Sometime. Eventually. Thank you very much for being a part of Talk Your Own Voices and Votes. Very interesting conversation around women participation in politics, especially as it concerns the 2019 general elections. Now, well, from what would say, I took down a few notes and I'd like to share all of it with you. Now, one of the things that we said for Nigeria to get more women participation in politics, then mindsets needs to change, especially from home. We also said separate religion and culture from politics. Change the political structure, and this would help. And women, show up, join political parties and take part in internal political party politics. On that note, we've come to the end of today's show. Thank you very much. Please, a round of applause for yourselves. We've come to the end of today's show. Thank you very much. My name is Afyong Basi.
Do you want to be part of the conversation? Are there questions or comments you'd like to share? So follow at Talk Your Own on Twitter and join the discussion. You can also visit BBC Media Action Niger on Facebook and Instagram. Like and follow to be part of the conversation.